moving towards a more modern and efficient immigration system. And with that comes the launch of the new electronic travel authorization portal, marking a very important shift in how visitors come in and out of South Africa. So the first phase is now live, as I'd mentioned, and it is being tested through the arrival of G20 delegates that is basically said to give officials a clear picture of how the system performs in real travel conditions. So visitors from China, from India, from Indonesia, from Mexico are going to be using this portal as they arrive at the Tambo International Airport, the Cape Town International Airport here in South Africa. And we're looking at a very early rollout that is going to offer a practical look at what we can expect, how it is fully digitized and how we enter or use the system, as it were, in the country. So the system uses a facial recognition and online processing to replace paper forms, long queues, applications, biometric capturing, and all the tedious things that we don't want to deal with when we are traveling. So immigration law experts say that this platform will connect directly with movement control systems at the country's borders, setting the groundwork for much quicker arrival and stronger security checks. The long-term plan is to expand the platform to visa requiring countries, and also ultimately to broaden it into more visa categories. So let's talk about it. Let's unpack it with our expert this afternoon. Masuku, Senior Associate at Employment Law at CDH, joins me on the line. Lee, a pleasure to have you on Channel Africa. Thank you so much for joining me. I think perhaps let's start with looking at this ETA, the new digital system, how it allows visitors to travel into the country and then avoid all the tedious paperwork. How was this structured, and us seeing the first rollout in the early stages, post, or rather pre the G20 arrival of the delegation?
Thank you so much for having me this afternoon. So the ETA, as you've correctly stated, is the electronic travel authorization, and it's a system that allows for online applications for visas, biometric capture, and instantaneous approval. So it's aimed at replacing the current paper-based systems for visa applications, and in essence, the ETA will serve as a pre-authorization for travel to and entry at any South African port of entry.
Okay, so let's talk about how it's going to work, because I think testing it at this time already gives us confidence that it is a system that is likely to be successful going forward. So we're seeing the G20 delegation from various parts of the world, as I'd mentioned, being the first test group. What are we seeing at this time? Are you seeing success? Are you confident at what this system is able to offer travelers and immigrators going forward?
So what the Department of Tourism and Home Affairs have reported so far is that there have been about 200 successful visa applications processed through the ETA system for the G20 conference. And the conference is really selected as a stress test, given the number of delegates arriving for the conference, so that one would suppose that the Departments of Home Affairs and Tourism can fix any niggles in the system that might arise, so that when there are future rollout phases, those can be eliminated, because it obviously is the intent to have the system as the base for many, if not all, of the visa categories available in South Africa going forward. Of course, 200 delegates compared to hundreds and thousands of tourists that are arriving are two separate and different things. But it is a good initial phase, or as a test group, I do believe.
Okay, if you've just tuned in, Masuku is joining me in her capacity as a Senior Associate at Employment Law at CDH. We are talking about South Africa moving towards a more efficient immigration system with the ETA, and of course its first test being tested rather on the arrival of the delegation for the G20. So we really are getting a clear picture as to how it works, what it is, how it works, and whether it is assisting in, the smooth sort of processes as the delegation arrives in South Africa. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Channel Africa is evolving, and so are you. Stay connected wherever you are with our brand new website and mobile app. Stream your favorite shows, catch up on African news, culture, and conversations, all at your fingertips.
Africa is just a tap away.
Your world, your stories, now on the go.
Stay connected wherever you are.
Visit channelafrica.co.za or download the Channel Africa app today. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Your life, your rhythm, your Africa. Channel Africa. Find it for free on Google Play and the Apple App Store. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Thank you for tuning in. This is in conversation with Masuku. We are talking about a new system as we welcome the G20 delegation that is, it's been tested currently with international delegation that is arriving, and we really are unpacking its efficiency at this time. Lee, facial recognition, real-time biometric checks, all very, very central to the ETA, as you rightfully noted. But how do these technologies then strengthen border security while still improving traveler confidence?
So, Mmatsheko, thank you for having me once again. What the ETA seeks to do is really replace, as we mentioned, the paper-based system, which really is subject potentially to manipulation and also physical documents getting lost in the system. So once you have an online digitalized system, it will assist with improving national security, as well as really just fast-tracking visa applications and permit applications. We do have, unfortunately, a bit of a history in this country of being slow to respond to applications made for visas, for permits, or permanent residency applications. And it really is hopeful that we will decrease the number of irregularities of persons in the country that are here irregularly, and the system will improve the ability to have to secure our borders in essence.
Right. Of course, the G20 is the testing phase, as we're seeing it, Lee, and as we rightfully mentioned. But it's going to conclude, and then we're going to have tourists from China, from India, from Mexico coming in and using the system. So what kind of impact is this going to have on the tourism space, for business travel, and also for making sure that there is just some kind of convenience, I guess, for investors that coming into South Africa, as it were?
So perhaps just on clarity on the phases. So what the Department of Home Affairs has said is that the first phase will really look at more short-term stays, such as your 90 days visitor's visa. And the second phase will then look at visas such as critical skills visas, general work visas, your family unification applications, and then further rollouts will then deal with other visa types as well as appeal processes. So for the time being, it really will help to raise the global standard of entry into South Africa, and to allow for quicker processing and to make South Africa a destination of choice. I mean, post-COVID, the tourism industry really has been in quite a bit of a downturn, but and the systems haven't necessarily helped us in allowing visitors into the country. So the more modernized we become, the more the economy can be boosted by additional tourists coming into the country. And if it is an ease for tourists to come in, it then makes South Africa really to be a destination of choice as a holiday venue.
All right. Okay, so as we wrap up, Lee, talk to us about the long-term plan to expand the ETA to more countries and eventually broader visa categories, as I understand it. So from an employment and immigration law standpoint, what does this rollout mean then for the future of how people enter and work and invest in South Africa?
So similarly, as opposed to the making South Africa a destination of choice for tourism, if you do have the ability for faster processing of visas and permits for working in South Africa, you would in turn then have investors looking at placing their employees either remotely in South Africa or having businesses bring foreign skills in to upskill South African employees. And really that also assists with the boosting of the economy and the employment rates, or the unemployment rates rather, in the country. It's really just about ensuring that we have a system that works for all involved.
Okay. Thank you so much. Lee Masuku, Senior Associate at Employment Law at CDH. And we were looking at this very important immigration system and how it's going to make things more efficient when it comes to immigration into South Africa. And of course, the first phase is being tested with the arrival of the G20 delegation here in South Africa for this weekend. Visitors from China, from India, from Indonesia, from Mexico are going to be using this portal as they arrive at the various international airports here in South Africa. So listen, we're watching and we're waiting with that is bated to see how this is going to inform travel and immigration in this country going forward. 26 minutes past 2 p.m. We are looking ahead at a sports bulletin with Figile Lingwati at the bottom of this hour.
The G20 Summit through African eyes, live updates,